So a content management system is exactly what the name implies. It's a way of allowing you to manage your content. So instead of having to manually write out our HTML and CSS and JavaScript and any other sort of technologies that we would be using, we instead will use a system that will allow us to insert our content, and then it will dynamically produce the HTML and CSS and JavaScript that's necessary for the web browser to read. It actually uses much more complicated code on the back end that we as the users won't necessarily see. We can access it if we really need to like change something, but that's more what we would do in web design too. So it's a lot more user friendly. Some examples that you might have already done, if you've ever made like a Wix or a Squarespace or a GoDaddy or any of those other like free web hosting services or the ones that you pay for, those are all examples of a CMS. It's basically just very visually oriented. You just kind of drop and drag and plop things in. You're going to find the next couple of weeks easier, particularly if you didn't like coding. You're going to find these next couple of weeks a lot simpler to complete than the previous ones. All right. That being said, we're going to be using WordPress. The reason why we're using WordPress is mostly because it is the most common website CMS you're going to find. Roughly 25% of sites are made using WordPress. It actually, I believe it's probably higher than that. The website you're looking at right now is, in fact, WordPress. So it is sort of like the industry standard. All right. Now, one of the things you might find is that you'll see WordPress.com versus WordPress.org, and that can be strange. So WordPress.com is basically it's a site that allows you to basically create blogs. Like that's how it more or less started. Blogs aren't really as big of a thing as they used to be, but there certainly are a reasonable number of blogs. And it allows you to create, it offers free hosting, and then you can put in your content. It's sort of like WordPress Lite, where you can create some stuff, but you're going to be much more limited into what you are allowed to do and what you're allowed to install and what your flexibility is. So it's sort of like pre-canned, simple sites. They do also offer now a paid version where they will do the hosting and all of the other things that you would need in order to make a site, and it is robust, but it is no longer free. So there's a little bit more of a blur now than there even used to be. But either way, that's what WordPress.com is. Think of it more of like a business. WordPress.org is actually more of like the technology that you would utilize. So what you would do is you would have to get your own host. So what that means, like I used Bluehost for a while, or there's HostGator. Right now I'm actually using Local. But basically you pay for a service, and they host your website for you that you would upload onto them. Usually they have built-in WordPress tools that will help you make the site. And then from there, you have ultimate flexibility, because all it really is when you have a host is it's just a computer and it's hard drive space. And so you just get access to whatever the hard drive space is, and you can put in it whatever you would like. In this case, we're going to be putting in WordPress, although we're not going to be using, we're not going to be uploading our site because that would cost money. For all intents and purposes, from here on out, when I say WordPress, I'm going to mean the WordPress.org version, not the WordPress.com. I mean more the technology and not the specific business of WordPress.com. You can view either one of them right here. You can click on this one or this one, and you can see basically the two areas. But WordPress.org is where they're making the stuff that is WordPress, and WordPress.com is a business that you can either put in a blog for free or have a site hosted there, just like you would, like I said, a HostGator, Bluehost, or GoDaddy or Squarespace. It's just like any one of those other ones.